Hello there, guys. Sorry I'm a little late, but I decided to work out to this time around. Remember the time. Can't let her get away. So I always have to work out. So I apologize for being a little bit late, but I'm glad you guys are here. Okay, we're going to treat this live as if it is a radio interview because I am running late and I don't have a lot of time to do a live, but I promised 40 lives, so I'm just going to read them. Okay, but before I read them, I'm going to show you guys something. Okay, here is something I created. It says 40 lies and counting. Okay, Leaving Neverland is a fabricated fictional child porno film. So I think if I can read that, and my camera's going to be moving because my eyes aren't going to be on the screen, I'm going to be just reading them. So treat this as a radio interview, okay, guys? I'm so glad you guys are here. I can't believe there's so many lies. Now, these 40 lies, real quick, I'm not going to do a lot of commentary. There's more than 40, but these 40 lies are either from the Leaving Neverland, a contradiction with their depositions or their testimony or their interviews. And this includes either Wade, Dan, or James. Okay, now Dan is looking like a fool in front of the whole world, and it hasn't even really began yet. Because when the estate gets a hold of them, oh my God, so many lies. Okay, let me just read them off. Okay, Michael wanted James Safechuck to testify. That is not true. We found that out from investigator Scott Ross, who said he was a non-entity. He didn't matter. The judge said he was not allowed to testify. So that's a complete lie. James said Michael purchased Neverland for him. Well, we know that Michael recorded the Say video in 1983 and wanted to buy that property because he recorded it at what was then called Sycamore Valley Ranch. And then Michael bought it, called it Neverland, but Michael changed the name back to Sycamore Valley Ranch in November 2008. So Michael did not know James in 83 when Michael was hoping to buy it. Plus, James said the molestation started in 88. Well, Michael put a deposit down on Neverland in July 1987, which is before the alleged molestation happened. So that's another lie. The ring dates, he said that they got married soon after they started having sex, which was allegedly, had to be in 1988 because he said he was a kid. Well, the jewelry store paparazzi footage is from May 1989. So that is not soon after. And plus they bought, many witnesses said they bought funny glasses and little toy figurines. James is never seen wearing any type of ring. Okay, and why did his mother not know about the ring ever in 30, 40 years? And why did he keep it? And how come Dan went back several months later and did the interview using the same clothes, but since James changed his furniture, we know that he went back and he did the ring. So the ring and the whole jewelry store thing, the ring and the marriage, that's all an afterthought. And I think it's because Dan found the paparazzi footage that was on YouTube for years. So that's completely made up. The train station where he said they had sex all over the place, like they were honeymooners. So that had to be in 1988 because honeymooners, they mock wedding. So we have the train proof that the train station wasn't built till 94. And then it still has to be verified. I haven't seen proof of this, but I heard the TPs didn't come to 1991. And the castle, there was no bed in the castle. That was another place. There was no bed in the castle, nor was there ever a bed in the arcade, which was another place that he said. And The TPs and the castle didn't come till 1991. So those have to be verified. And as far as the pool area, there are some all over the place all the time. So all over the place, everything all over the place was not even built at Neverland in 1988, 89, or 90. And then 91, the TP and the castle. Also, the grounds manager said that there was no beds in the arcade and castle. Let's see. Thanksgiving 87 is when James said that they went and they met with Michael on Thanksgiving 1987, and they spent Thanksgiving together. That's not true, because Michael was in Australia meeting 5-year-old Wade Robson on the Bad Tour. Okay, just so many lies. The whole birthday, happy birthday, Wade. Well, we found that footage comes from February, and Wade's birthday is not until September. Another lie. Wade wanted to testify. Yes, Wade did testify, but he said he wanted to testify because he saw Paris and he knew how much the children needed him. And forget that Michael's a molester. Forget leaving a molester with boys. Forget that. That doesn't matter. It's just so ridiculous. But Taj was there. Taj Jackson was there. And he said that dinner happened after he testified. The Grand Canyon trip that they went to Neverland, mother, father, grandmother, grandfather, sister, and Wade all went to the United States, and they went to Neverland, and they left 7-year-old Wade there. Okay, Wade was left there. No mention of that in the 93 deposition, and no mention of that in the 2005 trial, where they say at both places that the whole family went to Grand Canyon. And why would somebody leave? You're from Australia. You want to bring your kid to the USA and let him miss the Grand Canyon and stay with a stranger? I don't think so. And he's 7 years old on top of that. Okay, so that's another one. Told mother MJ was a bad man. The Robsons, James and Stephanie, they said that James told his mother that Michael was a bad man in 2005, of course, which there's no proof of it. And she said she danced and all this other stuff. So if you were so happy in 2005, you had a reason to stop the accused pedophile, but you did nothing. So you are the pedophile protectors, not us fans, Dan Greed. Because they had an opportunity to stop who they said molested them and did absolutely nothing until years after Michael was announced dead. And now they're saying that Michael molested them and they want justice. Justice from who? If you believe Michael's dead, you can't get justice from a dead man. And you say it's not about money. Well, then why don't you drop your appeal? Okay, let's move right along. They said that Stephanie Safechuck said Michael bought them a house. No, you asked Michael for a loan because you're a user to put a down payment on a house, and you reneged on it. So Michael was tired of begging you to pay him back. And he said, keep the money. So you defaulted on a loan. He did not buy you a house. There was no mention of James' family and his father being sued for $840,000, and that he was in financial straits and the family was in financial straits at the time that James decided to join the lawsuit. And then James, Wade was out of money. The whole ending of Leaving Neverland, where he's burning Michael memorabilia, well, he sold that to Julian's auctions in 2011, anything of value. And who's going to record that anyway? So that's another big lie. They said hundreds of times that the molestation happened, but we know that Wade was not there hundreds of times. I think I saw that Michael was there with them 4 times, and they visited about 14 times. And in 2005, there is testimony where Wade says that Michael was not always there. So hundreds of times, very doubtful. Wade dated two of Michael's nieces, didn't bring that up, dated Brandy the entire time of the molestation. Alleged, it's always alleged. I don't believe them for one moment, so if I don't say the word alleged, you know I mean alleged, and you know I don't believe that Michael molested them, because Tom Sneddon was looking under every corner trying to find somebody, and they raided Michael Jackson's house, and they had a warrant, and they looked everywhere, and there's no proof, zero, and there should be if hundreds of times by two men, hundreds of times. MJ was investigated the entire time. There were 3 court cases in the times that they said that they were molested. There was the Jordy Chandler. There was Michael suing the liar, pedophile, Mambla member, Victor Gutierrez and Diane Diamond. And there was the Neverland 5 countersuit. Michael won those 2 court cases, and with Jordy, he just wanted it to go away, and so the insurance paid that. And it was Tom Sneddon, after the settlement, still tried to press criminal charges against Michael, and the 2 grand juries refused to indict Michael Jackson because the pictures didn't match, even though Tom Sneddon tried to make a match, but under scrutiny, they did not match. Let's see. Jason Francia dated all the way back to 1987. So that was another boy that blackmailed Michael to get paid, and Diane Diamond set the stage for that and paid this woman $20,000 to lie on Michael Jackson for a tickling incident. So when Michael Jackson was investigated in 2005, when the trial happened, they were allowed to look up all bad acts and all previous bad acts, and they couldn't find anything. And I was in the courtroom when the Francias testified in 2005. And they said Michael gave him $100, and one of them described it as a $100 bill, and the mother described it as $250. So they were lying about that. After the settlement, 2 grand juries refused to indict Michael Jackson. Okay, got it. Dan Reed lies, not about MJ. Let's see. The soiled underwear. Dan Greed said that there were soiled underwear. No, bloody underwear. There's a story of soiled underwear. Dan Greed said there were soiled sheets. There's no soiled sheets. There's no soiled underwear. And then Dan Greed said that Wade refused and declined to be a part of the Circus Olay show, and there's supposed to be some email from 2012, which I have not seen yet. Joy said that Wade didn't stay with Michael until 1993. And Wade also said the first time he stayed with Michael alone was 92, 93. So that's another lie, because the trip to the Grand Canyon where he was supposed to be left was 1990. I mean, these lies just keep going. Amanda contradicts, saying that she didn't know anything about child sexual abuse. And then she says on their website that they started up just weeks before it debuted at Sundance, Leaving Neverland. And then she said that she was also a victim of child abuse. And then they deleted that from the website, which is Consciousness of Guilt. Joy played down in a 2011 podcast that they didn't know Michael that well, and that Wade was just in 3 of Michael's videos. Okay. Dan Greed shortened the film by 45 minutes, so he probably took out some of the lies. I can't bear to watch Leaving Neverland again. I can't bear to watch it. I just can't. Let's see. I watched it the one time, and it was the worst 4 hours of my life besides somebody dying. Okay. There was no bed in the castle arcade per Brad Sundberg and Alan Scanlon. I already went over that. No mention of, no mention of the bloody underwear in the written complaint. Okay, so that was just added for the movie for sensational sake. There's an impersonator in Leaving Neverland, and there's a Hitler insertion there, so that's a big lie. It was the father's idea for them to come to Los Angeles and pursue the kids' dreams of being dancers. And that is Wade's father, who was also supposedly a victim of child abuse. And so there's no such thing as Michael having a sex trafficking ring when it was the father's idea for them to come to Los Angeles. And also, when they got here, Michael didn't pay their bills. Per Leaving Neverland, they had to pay their own bills, you know, and Michael was not, they thought Michael was just going to pay for everything, and he did not. So sex trafficking ring, that's a part of the complaint in the lawsuit. EXTRAJET, they use EXTRAJET footage. See, when Michael got arrested, when Michael had to fly in an emergency from Las Vegas to Santa Barbara, he flew on a private jet called EXTRAJET, and they illegally recorded them. And Mark Garagos was the attorney at that time, and Mark Garagos had a press conference saying that if anybody does anything bad to Michael, they're going to come down on them. But he was talking about the EXTRAJET. He was not talking about the alleged victims in I guess it was 2003, 2004, when they had that press conference. Michael was recording, just to let you guys know, he was in Las Vegas recording One More Chance video. Then that was cut short, and that's why, you know, you only have really the back of Michael really being recorded. They were supposed to be recording the front of Michael, but it just never happened because it was interrupted because they raided Neverland. Okay, so I think that was November 2003. They talked about one-way glass in the theater and at Neverland, but it was see-through glass, so you could see both ways. Wade lied about writing a book about the alleged molestation, and then the judge forced him to show the book because he had a lawyer, an entertainment lawyer named Ellen Yu, and that was so he was lying about that. Every time together, but admits. Wade said every time that him and Michael were together, it happened, but Brandy spent the night there per 2005 under oath testimony, in which Wade said Michael never molested them. Purchase Neverland down payment. I went over the down payment in July. Let's see. Dan Green said Michael slept with boys thousands of nights, and he had sex with slept with Brett Barnes 300 times. How does he know? He didn't interview Brett Barnes. Let's see. The whole tape over, the videotape footage that James said that him and Michael had sex, and Michael videotaped it. And it was so much fun. Michael's like, oh my God, I forgot. Let me erase over it. Well, that wasn't in the Leaving Neverland. That was a story they told in an interview, but I have not watched Leaving Neverland again to double check that. So whoever came up with that might have been the 45 minutes that was taken out. So that one needs to be double checked. But there's no videotape, okay? And there's no proof of anything taped over anything with the videotape. There's no evidence of that. That's just another story. Just like the bloody underwear is another story. And just like the soiled sheets is another story. There's no evidence, proof, or anything. And Michael was investigated by a seasoned prosecutor and an investigation and a man obsessed with trying to take Michael down this whole time. Michael wished, let's see. Joy, after the lawsuit was filed, Joy was liking on Facebook a happy birthday to Michael Jackson in 2013 and other posts by Michael Jackson. There might be, this is just some extra stuff, guys. There might be a lawsuit by a real estate company for Dan Greed using the drone footage of Neverland, which he never got permission from, and that is not fair use. I am an expert in fair use. Wade said he wasn't sure if the abuse happened the first night, the second night, or the third night when he was spent the night at Neverland, because Chantel was in the room too, but he did not mention. And then he had to ask his mother in an email about the Grand Canyon trip. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Karen Faye, she added some good stuff. She said the kids would fall asleep in Michael Jackson's room or in his bed, and Michael would get up and rehearse because Michael was very busy from 88 to 96. He had tours, he had, albums, he had videos to produce. So Michael would leave the kids there, they fall asleep, and then he would go and he would practice and he would rehearse and he would work, because you don't become that great without working, without practicing. They said that they never met with the lawyers together. Wade and James met with the lawyers in 2014. So Dan Greed and all of them are lying about that. Plus they, at one point, one of them said no, they hadn't met before, and then the other one said they did, but they supposedly met on the set of Jam. And I have that picture. And it was Brett Barnes too. And so they said that Michael kept them apart, but Wade, James, and Brett Barnes were all on the set of Jam. And they were supposed to have met on the set of Black and White too. So I don't know about keeping them apart. Dan Greed said Leaving Neverland is not about Michael Jackson. That's the biggest lie. And then he calls Leaving Neverland a documentary. It is not a documentary. It's a child porno, fantasy, fabricated, fairy tale, child porno flick. And then they say it's not about the money and it's about justice. Why don't you drop your appeal then if it's not about money? Okay. And it was so much fun and Michael was so loving and generous. How come? So where is the abuse? Since you guys said it was so loving and wonderful and Michael could never do any wrong and Michael was great and all this other stuff. And your careers went on, and Michael even with James Safechuck, he was with Lisa Marie and Michael. I think it was the history for one of the history shoots, and James was holding the umbrella, so Michael might have hired him as an assistant or a gopher or something. And he was 16 around that time. And Michael was supposed to only like prepubescent boys. And so Dan has said that he wasn't wrong about having sex in the train station. But that would have meant that James was 16 years old. So that's way after puberty. So, and he was as big as Michael when he was 16. So how is Michael into little boys? That's what Dan Greed said. It's just ridiculous. Dan Greed said he saw nothing that refuted their stories. What about the two under oath testimonies that the Robsons gave and a signed declaration by James? So you found nothing to refute their stories? Come on. So when they met in 2014, that was before Dan Greed said he contacted the lawyers to do this documentary. I believe the lawyers contacted him, but I don't have any proof of that. Hopefully the estate will. Okay. So anyway, guys, I just wanted a place where when Taj does his documentary or when the estate wants a list of, let's make sure we got this, 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 that I have a place where there's a whole bunch of stuff. Now everybody knows 99 out of 100 times I provide proof, but if I was to provide proof of that, I would spend a month making a documentary, and I don't have an editor. So I try to show you guys stuff as I have it. I'm going to show you the picture of, I do have it. I promise that I show you guys a picture, and I'm going to turn my camera around. This is the picture of I believe it's the Jam set, and this somebody, Kapowski, posted this on Twitter. And this is supposed to be, it says Safechuck is in the red jacket, Wade with the baseball cap, and the other one with the yellow and blue jacket is Brett Barnes. MJ invited everybody, even though they said he kept them apart. So I wanted to show you guys that proof of that lie. And let's see what else I have. See if I have something else for you guys. Oh, yeah, I do have something else. This is with the lawyers. Most of the other stuff, I have proof of it in my other live videos, but in this one, this live video, it would be too much. Oh my God, it'd be so much. But anyway, all that stuff is true, and all that stuff can be researched, and all that stuff can be verified. You have my word on it. Wade Robson's own 2016 deposition refutes it. Okay, this is 2016 Wade's deposition. Question: when was the last time you spoke to James Safechuck? Answer: I believe the last time I spoke would have been in early 2014. What did you talk about? Mr. Finaldi. Hang on. Okay, this is the lawyer. Object to the extent it calls for attorney-client communications. So if this was a conversation with attorneys there, I'm going to instruct you not to answer. This is Mr. Clandestine. I don't know how to pronounce it. Did you have a conversation without an attorney present, Mr. Safechuck, in 2014? No. So that's the attorney saying that they all got together and did their little sewing circle in 2014, because he can't claim attorney-client communication unless the attorneys were there. You see, in an interview with Vanity Fair, Robson and Safechuck admitted that they had met during the course of their litigation. So they said Dan Greed said that they did not meet during the course of the litigation. So I just want you guys to know that they're busted. They're busted. Their credibility is out of the window. This is all made up. It's a child porno film, and it really should be illegal to make movies about child sex in such a descriptive manner that isn't for educational purposes or isn't for the purposes of getting to the bottom of an issue. This is a fabrication. This is made up. This is disgusting. And I believe they should be charged with child pornography. And I believe that they should be convicted. And I believe that they should all have to register as sex offenders, because there has to be a punishment for this. Besides, this is a straight extortion attempt. Okay, there's no truth in what they're saying. Michael was highly investigated during this whole time. Okay, from 92, which was the Jordy Chandler, 92, 93, the Jordy Chandler, up until 2005. And in all that, nobody ever suspected that Wade and James were being molested. All the investigators, the complete Santa Barbara District Attorney's Office, all the Santa Barbara PD, the LAPD, FBI, okay, they knew that the boys were there, but they had no proof that they were ever molested. And then them and their family has said Michael never molested them. If there was proof, they would have found it already. There is no proof. These guys are child porno filmmakers. That's what they are. All right, guys. I just thought I'd tell you guys that. I have an appointment to go with I'm going out with some girlfriends from high school. And we're going to go and have Belizean food. So I wish everybody a good day. Oh, you just can't forget to get the Alive trilogy of Michael Jackson documentaries. See that right there? See the Alive trilogy of Michael Jackson documentaries? Okay. I'm going to put together something to show you guys that Michael never took the propofol. Dr. Harmon Murray never gave Michael the propofol. Okay, it was a necessary prop because there was an article by a Michael chauffeur that said that he took Michael to a cloning for cloning, but he had scientists there and they discussed cryonics. Cloning was the excuse he gave, but he really was after the information about cryonics. And if you watch my Alive 2, I proved to you that dead body wasn't Michael, was a cryonic body double. And the LA District Attorney knows it. And that's why they refused to confirm that dead body was Michael. And I have that in writing. Okay, and they refused to tell me who wrote the words alleged victim and alleged date in the Conrad Murray verdict, which means they don't know what dead body that was. They don't know the identity to the dead body, and they don't know when that dead body dies. But there was an unclaimed body found at the coroner's with 2 other names and the name Michael Jackson attached that matched the description of what Michael Jackson would have been. Okay, so please watch my live trilogy of Michael Jackson documentaries available on Amazon.com, or you can watch them on Vimeo. Because hopefully if I can make enough money and find enough money, I can produce a live 4. Okay? All right? And I can sew up some more stuff in a live 4. All right, guys, I'm running late. I got to get out of here. I love you guys. And I will see you next time. Oh my God. I got one last thing that I have to show you guys. I have to show you guys this. Okay. I have to show you guys this. I am so sorry that I forgot to bring this up. Oh, how could I forget? Oh my God. How could I forget to bring this up and show you guys something? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. How did I forget to do that? Okay. I had the t-shirt on. All right. So here we go. Here we go. I'm going to turn my camera around. Alrighty.
When she was in the hospital.
Let me turn
this down.
Let's turn this down. Let me turn my camera around. And I'm going to scroll this so you can see. Let me make the screen bigger. And let's see where I can show you guys this. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. There's one. All right, I'm turning my camera around. Okay, I forgot to mention I had on the Jackson's Empire t-shirt, and I thank Peter for sending me the Jackson's Empire t-shirt. I highly suggest that you guys get this Jackson Empire t-shirt. Okay? I just highly suggest that you get the Jackson's Empire t-shirt. Go to jacksonsempire.com or contact Peter at thegloved_1 on Twitter, and he will tell you how you can get a Jackson's Empire t-shirt. And he also did a twit longer about I gotta get out of here. He did a twit longer about, let's see, oh my goodness, the resurrection. Here we go. The resurrection of Jesus. And how, we're still waiting on Jesus to come back. And so is everybody that believes in Christianity and Jesus crazy? So he did a whole thing, my message to the non-believers of God. So what is this kind of a comeback message? I don't know, guys. I don't know. But anyway, read it. Okay, read it. It was kind of interesting. He posted this on the 3rd of April. So with that, I just want to say I love you guys, and I will talk to you next time.